back to beautiful Antwerp, Belgium for the second day of the playoffs, the second day of the champion stage. Don't let that image fool you. It's actually raining cats and dogs outside, which means it is a perfect time for you to sit inside and watch some amazing Counter-Strike. We already have two teams in the semifinals, Spirit and FaZe, and today we won't crown the champion yet, but we'll find the others that are still in the race, Pimp and Devilwalk.
Yes, it's going to be amazing today. As you said, it's very rainy outside. You know, it's been sunny for a couple of days, but we move into the arena now. We move into the gamer weather, and I cannot wait to kick off today. We have two very interesting matchups, and of course, the first one being ENCE Flames. There's a lot at stake for all these teams today.
It's going to be amazing to watch and see how it actually develops. We have amazing matchups, Navi, Heroic, ENCE and Copenhagen Flames. So I just, I hope that we get banger games in both of those series.
Absolutely do. We're going to get knee-deep into those matchups. But first, we're going to check in with Frankie, who's on stage.
Everyone, hello, Sports Police! Now, yesterday we did have a few upsets on this stage. NIP nearly made it to the semi-finals, but FaZe just had too much experience on their shoulders. And then we had an upset. I think Brazil might still be a little bit upset this morning because Spirit shocked them to take a spot in the semi-finals. And today we're going to have two more intense quarter-finals. One of the things that's quite surprising, though, actually, is the amount of fans who've turned out for teams who didn't quite make it to this point. If you look to my left here, we have got some very enthusiastic fans who've currently turned their backs on me. They are the Golden Hornets and they're currently singing for Vitality. I don't even know if I can get their attention, to be perfectly honest. So instead, I'm going to turn my attention over to G2. The G2 army are right at the front of the stage there. There we go. They got the memo with the G2 army. But you know what? When it comes to fans, you guys are like the sixth members of any team. And I'd love to hear how you are going to be supporting your favorite teams today. So Sports Police, can you cheer like you're the sixth man for me if I ask you? Nicely, please. Sports Police, with me in 1, 2, 3. That was the warm-up. Okay. LA. Now the Vitality fans are listening. Hello guys, nice of you to join us. Okay, Sports Police. Un, deux, trois, let me hear you! The arena is still filling up, so we're going to head over to the panel now to get us ready for our first match between ENCE and Copenhagen Flames.
Oh, I love it.
Amazing.
It's so great. I mean, unfortunately for the Vitality fans and the G2 fans and also the Brazilian fans, their teams are out, but it's not really affecting their mood, it seems like, right? And I love that. We're all here because we love Counter-Strike and we love it whatever team plays.
It's hard not to get goosebumps standing right here and being so close to that arena, being so close to that energy. And as you so rightfully said, it's amazing to see that even though Vitality kind of shit the bed, to be completely honest, and didn't make it, they are still here to be supported. The fans are still here showing up, and I absolutely love that when it comes to Counter-Strike.
Yeah, and that's what's so amazing about Counter-Strike. We have such passionate fans all around. They're here for the games, even if their favorite team isn't here at the playoffs. And it's huge respect for both the G2 fans and the Vitality fans, because they've been bringing it not only today, yesterday as well. So, you know, I'm loving it and hope to see more noise from them.
Same. One thing though, can you pronounce the place we are at for me?
Yeah.
Sport Palais?
Sport Palace.
Sports Palace. Very well done. Love it. Now we're going to check in with our casters for the first series, Vince and Blair.
Thank you very much, Shox. It is a pleasure to be here in Antwerp today. I can't wait to get into this game, Blair. You must be so hyped for this.
I am incredibly hyped. I mean, it's still early in the day. You can see the crowd turning up as well. I'm ready. I'm sure you're ready. I'm sure everyone's ready right now.
Oh, we really are. And I think ENCE and Copenhagen Flames, they're going to have quite a few fans in here. So Antwerp, are you with me for these teams? A decent amount. I think as the crowd continues to fill in, we're going to get a lot more loud and raucous support on both of these teams. But for now, we're going to head back to the desk.
Thank you so much. We had a little bit of a tour around the arena to see what all is up, but now let's get into the nitty-gritty and let's get into the tournament. First, let's recap what has happened yesterday and hopefully get the bracket up as well, as I can still hear Vince and Blair. We can't get rid of them, it seems. So, what a fantastic start we had to the playoff stage. NIP versus FaZe, Devilwalk. NIP put up a valiant fight, I want to say, not only in that match, but in the whole tournament, but FaZe just ramped up as that best of 3 went on.
Yeah, they have so many big game players, clutch players, and so many of those moments to turn it around in their favor. It was these magical major moments that they produced in that matchup. Unfortunately, for the Swedes and myself, the magic for NIP wasn't enough this time.
Listen, massive props to NIP. Not only for the game yesterday in the quarterfinal, but also the tournament as a whole. They weren't really favored to get into the playoff, but they did it with conviction. They played some solid counterstrike, and I agree with you. Was it not for Brokey, was it not for Rob stepping up massively yesterday? There's a world where NIP potentially could have taken down FaZe, and that would have been one hell of a scalp. So yeah, despite losing yesterday, NIP can be nothing but proud.
And how do we feel about FaZe now? As you said, they are a team that thrives when the pressure gets higher, when they are on stage, when people are against them and for them in the crowd, right, Pim?
They are, and I'm scared as well. You know, they've lost a lot of games where I thought they'd win, but I'm scared on behalf of the rest of the teams in the tournament. We saw it yesterday. The first map, you know, Brokey didn't play well, Robs didn't play well. They were still able to win. Then we saw it on the third map. You said it yourself right here. When pressure amounts, when it really gets down to the nitty-gritty, that's when they step up. And we saw exactly that yesterday. I don't think FaZe played at 100% yesterday, and they still won with somewhat conviction, and that to me is a scary prospect.
Yeah, they're growing into the tournament. I wasn't convinced completely going into the playoff for the game yesterday, but they proved me wrong, and I have a lot more stocks in FaZe right now as it is, because they did amazing, honestly.
Absolutely did. And then we have Team Spirit. They made it over Furia. They have been the revelation of the tournament so far. And I guess the big question just is, Devilwalk, is the sky the limit for these youngsters?
Yeah, I know you're a big Spirit fan secretly, but I think, you know, you constantly underestimate them, and they've been utilizing the position of pressure extremely well. We had an interview with Dexter. He said some fantastic words. I love that interview, how everything is just a bonus to them. Of course they want it, they're hungry for it, they have a lot of young players, but he really relieves the pressure from all these young players coming into their squad, and I think that really helps them produce the numbers and performances they have.
Listen, the performance yesterday is enough of a sentiment to say that they can go all the way if they continue down that path. Yeah. Beating Furia the fashion they did yesterday, they weren't pressured, they weren't tested, I would almost say, right? They were just by far the better team on the stage. It's only got to get tougher in a semi-final against FaZe. That is going to be rough, but there's nothing that tells me that Spirit wouldn't be able to continue down that path.
Someone even dropped the PGL Krakow situation earlier.
We'll see.
I mean, yeah, they're playing like they're flying right now, so we'll see. Before we get into ENCE versus the Copenhagen Flames, one word about the later series, Na'Vi versus Heroic. I don't think it needs an introduction, but still, warm us up a little bit.
We got two of the best teams in the world. We got two teams who duked it out for the majority of last year. The one team in the world that felt like a threat to Na'Vi last year was Heroic. That was the only team who could actually pressure them when Na'Vi were at their absolute best. And what happened 3 weeks ago in the qualifier for this tournament was that Heroic for the first time ever beat them in a best of 3. Admittedly, Na'Vi weren't in their best shape, but still, they must give Heroic some confidence. So on paper, Na'Vi are favorites, but that is going to be a banger of a game.
Yeah, so excited for that one. I mean, something to think about. I'm just thinking about that. How can Heroic be so good against Na'Vi? And I think it's a little bit about like how fast they move on the maps, and the rotations are kind of similar because they do have that like 2-3 second extra pace in the rotation. And I think that matchup kind of fits Heroic quite well, because I don't think Na'Vi are used to playing a team like that.
Well, the mind game has started already. Cadian and HLTV dropping the whole, yeah, they are the favorites. They must not lose. Okay, I'm sure they've seen that. That is later today. Let's start by jumping into our first series, ENCE versus the Copenhagen Flames. We're going to have the introduction on the teams on stage in just a couple of minutes. So let's lay out the lay of the land, so to speak, for these two teams. Let's start with ENCE, absolutely on a high. For me, the mark of a good organization is when you have been on top, the easy for ENCE days. Then, maybe after a calmer period, finding your strength again, this time with a whole new roster that has been scouted and it is working together phenomenally.
There's quite some history when it comes to that, right? Because there was a Finnish squad the first time around when they got into the first major final, and they had to rediscover their identity, right? They had to move away from the Finnish scene. Maybe not enough talent, maybe not enough seriousness coming out of that, and they moved into an international prospect, giving the keys to Snappy, who has been, I would say, the driving force behind this project. The fact that he's been able to create what right now is the number world ranked 3 team in the world in a major quarterfinal with the players you see on your screen right here. Had you told me that just 6, 7, 8 months ago, I probably would have laughed and said, okay, these guys have potential, but for them to be in a quarterfinal at a major, let's calm our horses just a little bit.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that they basically picked up almost all free agents. They didn't go for massive buyouts. It was a cheap squad, and they've really developed them along the way, which is as you said, a proof they are a great organization and they're here for the future.
And they have the mix as well, right? Experience in Snappy. They have a couple of dudes who are up there in age. 24 is kind of old in Counter-Strike, and then they have those young guns who are just coming in with full-on aggression, full-on, I guess, motivation, and also delivers on the server. Spinks, of course, a guy we're going to talk much more about.
I think so, and it seems like for Spinks and for ENCE, it's been all about moving the goalpost, right? First, it was like, okay, how much can you do? EPL, the final, didn't manage to beat FaZe. Then they go to the Blast Showdown and they win that thing, right? And then they come here, and now we're just seeing how far they can go as the crowds get bigger and bigger and bigger. Let's take a look at the Copenhagen Flames as well. Funnily enough, they are in a similar position than they were around PGL Stockholm when they weren't able to get that final hurdle and get onto the big stage. Still looking for that org, right? But the Copenhagen Flames, they've been doing fantastic, and they're also a squad that have been developing since then.
Let me paint a very clear picture right here. They're not supposed to be in a quarterfinal. They don't have the budget for it. You look at the team, you think they're not supposed to be as good as they are, but they played some fantastic Counter-Strike. As you said, they did it during the PGL Major in Stockholm. They surprised everyone, myself included. I didn't think that those 5 players could be so goddamn good, but they are. Now, coming into this one, one thing is doing it once, but having to do it again when everyone is looking at you and actually fearing you and preparing for you, that is hella impressive. So no, this team right here, they're not supposed to be as good as they are, but they're still inside the very first quarterfinal at a major, and they fully deserve it.
Yeah, they're incredible hard workers. I know I've talked to Huxi, I've talked to Vorborg about this, and they work probably the hardest out of any team out there. They are extremely, well versed. Like Huxi demands it out of everyone. Yeah. I know that for a fact. He does not want any slouchers in his team, and they are really proving that on the server, that the hard work pays off.
And I just want to point one thing. You see Roy right here on your screen. He's 28. He's actually one of the guys with the least experience, if I dare say it. He didn't start playing Counter-Strike when he was 15 years of age. He started his pro career 4 or 5 years ago, and now he's on the top. So to all you guys out there saying, I'm 22, I'm 23, I missed the train, there's always a way. Roy right now is a great example of such.
Absolutely so. In an interview recently, he also said, I don't know what it is about our squad, even though we don't have that much experience along us. Some of the people like Nikodos and like Jabby, they are just flying when they come onto the server on a LAN environment. And they also said, Nikodos in the interview after they qualified to this stage, well, now we play with absolutely nothing to lose. Like, we've already done what we came out here to do, and that is absolutely fantastic. And I think when you look at the way they made it, Devil Walk, we talked so much about it, about you're in that 2-2 matchup again. Now you're going up against Imperial. It goes to double overtime on Vertigo, but they broke that, right? They went for it and they made it here, and I think that's a big step to take for that roster.
Yeah, otherwise you start thinking about curses and all kinds of things, but they broke that instantly. They didn't make it a tendency, so that's a really good sign for them going into it. They have been super impressive because, they haven't really lost against, it's the semi-final teams they lost against. It's Spirit and it's FaZe, and that's super impressive. You can look at all the matchup and their way here, and they've just, blown everyone away, I think.
Absolutely have. We'll dive a bit deeper into the matchup in just a second, but now Frankie is standing by with our teams.
Thank you very much, guys. Now, I think the crowd is ready for this one. When ENCE first went international, few would have predicted their current success. But in the past few months, Snappy's boys have shown that they can not just beat the best, but be counted among them too. please welcome, it's ENCE! This team's dedication to learning the ins and outs of every corner of Counter-Strike has finally seen them make it to the big playoff stage. Will their commitment to Counter-Strike finally pay off tonight? Sports Police, get ready for Copenhagen Flames! Me in the corner here, I'm going to take Snappy. Siphon, I'm going to come to you first. Your family's travelled all the way from Denmark to watch you play in your first major playoffs. How does it feel to know that they're here to cheer you on?
The support is like it means so much to me, and I think this will boost my confidence in game. That I know that they're out there cheering for me and making me better in game.
What does a confident Siphon look like in game?
What?
What do you look like when you're at your most confident in game?
It's just about like making the right decisions and not really overthinking things, and like always making good choices.
I'm sure you're going to make plenty of those today. I'm going to come over to your fellow Dane, Snappy, obviously your rivals right now. Snappy, you've been on the scene for a bit, but this is your first major playoffs. What's it like for you finally making it to the quarterfinals?
It feels amazing to be here in the autumn of my career and make it to the stage. It's obviously been a dream of mine for a long time. So I'm just happy I finally made it, and hopefully we can go a bit further and bring a good match against Flames today.
Well, the only numbers we care about in Counter-Strike are the ones that we see on that board. Gentlemen, please shake hands, and we'll get these quarterfinals underway with the panel.
Thank you so much. Amazing stuff. By the way, if you didn't see it, I think it was Siphon's mom who tweeted like a photo from when he was little with like a plastic gun, and now the Counter-Strike is what dreams are made of, and that is proven every single day. I'd like to start with talk about the IGLs and Snappy versus Hooksy. I think we've got two IGLs here, as said, who aren't necessarily the guys that are the stars of the Counter-Strike scene, right? But who have been working so hard for so long in these individual projects and bringing them to newer heights.
Listen, Snappy has been a workhorse for a very, very long time. He played Counter-Strike 15 years ago. You remember him maybe from 1.6 in the days?
Yeah.
You do, yeah. A player that has just been grinding and grinding and grinding. And he's always been good, but he's never been at a level where you thought, okay, he can lead a team that is top 8 or top 5 in the world. But he has been doing such the last couple of months. So massive props to him. Hooksy, on the other hand, relatively new guy, still, up there in the age. But even in the Danish scene, no one really gave him the credit. But he finally found the right mix of players, and he's doing a fantastic work together with the rest of the Flames.
Yeah, and they are kind of similar but very distinct differences in their calling style in IGL. I think like Hooksy, for example, he likes more masking defaults, going for trick plays within it, and Snappy, he goes maybe a little bit more gimmicky styles, more fast-paced kind of tricks up his sleeve. So it's going to be a very, very interesting way, and obviously they have a different in stylistic with their players, but it's going to be an interesting PGL matchup.
Yeah, you love to use the word, but both very well-drilled teams,
Yes,
right? When
they
it
are
comes
very
to
well drilled.
Let's
Yes.
pick out a couple of those individuals that you just mentioned. Spinks, let's just go for it. We're going to be talking about him a lot. If the goalpost that we've now set out for him, he also just shoots the goal there. Because I remember we have been talking about it throughout this tournament. All right, what's he going to do at the major? What's he going to do in challenger stage, legend stage? And this guy has just been improving in front of our eyes and seems to revel in the level of competition that is put in front of him.
Just look at the stats on your screen right here, right? He is one of the best players in the entire tournament, and he is probably one of the more impactful players as well when it comes to how well and how much he's helping his team. This guy on your screen, as you said, we keep raising the bar. He came into the major qualifier, played well. He came into the major, played well. Now he's on the stage. Now he's in a quarterfinal, and I guess that's where we're setting the bar. Can he also deliver on stage with a crowd in front of him? Then we may very well be looking at one of the best players in the world of Counter-Strike as of right now.
Yeah, he's been proving ourselves wrong in all our questions about him. He's constantly raised the bar, and I think he's on the road to superstardom. He is such a good player.
Devilwalk, break it down for me. Why is he playing so well? What's his style in game?
So stylistically, I think he's more of a cleanup man, more of a, he embraces the chaos that Snappy, Mad and Dusha creates for him on the server, and he's very good at abusing and finding timings to get map control, sometimes an entire bomb site with one kill or blocking them off. So he's very percentage-based player, and it shows on the server.
He's a lone wolf that at any given point on the map can make chaos happen, right? You said it yourself right here. He doesn't necessarily need a flash for him. He doesn't necessarily need a teammate to bait for him. But if Spinks wants to, he can go out, he can find a couple of duels, and he can dictate the game and dictate any given round. To have a player to be able to do that with a rifle, there's very few in the world who could do that. Spinks right now is one of them.
Absolutely so. He is also being supported, not only supported, but Daicha often top fragging in the server for ENCE as well. They have so much firepower, as you say, that they can make work for them. Let's look at the other side. What can we expect in terms of firepower from the Copenhagen Flames? It seems that they are all very well versed in that department.
It's a well-rounded team, right? There's no clear star within Copenhagen Flames. You may look towards Roy and say that's the guy that most consistently plays well, but in this tournament, a lot of the players are very similar. You look at Siphon right now and Nikodos sharing the same high rating, 1.10 as the highest. Roy a little bit behind, Yabi a little bit behind, and then you have one problem perhaps in Huxi. He's a great in-game leader, but individually speaking, he hasn't really played well this major. He's currently the 4th lowest rated player in the entire tournament, and just to make the comparison with Snappy, as we talked about before, that could be a problem. There's more firepower when it comes to him than there is on Copenhagen Flames.
Yeah, but they do have this man, and he is I think, if you're going to look at anyone matching up against ENCE players and he's going to be like the better one, so to speak, I would look at Nikodos on the Flames side, because he constantly produces magical moments for Flames, and I think that he will be a super key player if they're gonna be able to break against this best of 3.
Yeah, you didn't mention the name, but Hades, of course, on the other side, has been up and down at times, and I think he then also had games against good opponents that he really showed what he was made of. But we're looking for that consistency, and I think especially when you come into the playoff bracket against these opponents and the next ones that you may face, now is the time to show your top level.
He needs to, right? Because the man on your screen to the left right here is the one weak point. If you have to point out something, I don't think he's a weak player. I don't think he's a bad player by no means. And as you said, we see glimpses of what he can do. But on a consistent basis, if you were to pick a player right now from ENCE, you potentially could remove in the future, or you could potentially switch out with someone else in order to make them an even better team, that would be the guy. So I agree, pressure is on Hades, and I would go as far as saying that Nikodos so far, and in the, I guess, last couple of months, he's been the better player. So if there's one area in the game where Copenhagen Flames actually have the better card on their hand, it would be on the AWP.
Yeah, I will see in the map pool if that's something that they can exploit a bit more. It's coming in just a second. So guide us into this one. We've seen different strengths from these teams, but what should be the priorities, Devilwalk?
I think, looking at both teams, they both are very well drilled, as I like to say, but they have, I think pistols are super key in this duel because they're both very meticulous. They have a great conversion rate after. I think they're both on 87.5% conversion rate on the second and third round. So they have multiple anti-ECAs. They do have a deep playbook, both of these teams. But looking at the veto, interesting here. Vertigo, I thought, nuke pick from ENCE. I actually suspected they might go for a Mirage, but it's still in the pool.
I absolutely love these map picks from both teams. You're Copenhagen Flames, you think to yourself, okay, we're going against ENCE. ENCE is a very good Vertigo team, especially recently. They've had some very solid results, but we feel comfortable on Vertigo. Vertigo is our home ground, so we feel comfortable picking that map into ENCE. Same could be said for ENCE, right? Nuke right now is to be considered the best map in the map pool, but you look towards Copenhagen Flames and you think, okay, maybe you could have gone with something else. Maybe you could have put them under a little bit of a pressure, but ENCE feel like they're the favorites. They feel like they want to pick their best map, right? So you have two teams right now who are both picking their best maps, going into a best-of-3 series, and that's usually what makes for the best games.
Yeah, in the top level, we referenced it already, but for the Copenhagen Flames to make it here, it was on Vertigo that they kept their cool. I think they feel very confident in their abilities going onto that map. Break it down a little for me in terms of the starts of these two teams. Pimp, I know you dove a bit deeper into the pistol rounds generally and the winning of rounds for both two teams.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to Vertigo, I think we should start there, right? Because you look at ENCE right now and the record they have in the past 3 months, not necessarily that scary. You look at a 50% win rate, but the last 3 games they've played out here, right? They beat Outsiders 16-6. They beat Copenhagen Flames at Blast Show Springdown 16-7, and they beat NIP 16-9. They haven't given up double digits on Vertigo in the past 3 games, and that's what Copenhagen Flames decides to bring into the map pool. I'm curious to that one.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about this veto a little bit, and I'm starting to think that Copenhagen Flames actually have an advantage in this veto. I think these maps are absolutely great for them. If they have a chance to 2-0, if they bring Vertigo, they have a great nuke. So I don't think nuke is. I think it's a little bit of a risky pick for ENCE, even though they are so good at it.
And the third one is the one that Copenhagen Flames beat ENCE on in this very tournament. Very interesting. As we are about to get into this game, Pimp, break it down for us from the macro perspective of what we're looking at. ENCE is the number 3 in the world. They should be heavy favorites here, but now they're in the pressure cooker.
Listen up, ENCE are the heavy favorites right here. We have seen Copenhagen Flames crumble under the pressure a couple of times. Maybe, just maybe, the fact that they're over that hurdle, the fact that they finally got into the quarterfinal could be enough for them to play free. If they can, I believe we get a competitive game. I believe we get a close game, because I agree with you. Both the maps are good for both teams. I will say, though, that ENCE being the number 3 in the world right now, ENCE having Spinks in their lineup, ENCE having Dyha, who's one of the most underrated players at this tournament. There's a lot of stuff right now that points in the direction of ENCE.
Final notes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-1 series. I can't see this actually going any other way. ENCE has a 7% out of all games where they lose 2-0. So I don't think it's going to be that way.
I'm going to spice it up just a little bit. I think ENCE will win 2-0, but I think we're going to get 2 competitive maps, and we're looking at a 16-13 scenario on both.
Okay, I signed up for that, but I always want 3 maps. I think Vincent Blatt are ready to take us into the arena, so take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Shox and the boys. Expert job. Look, our job, Blair, isn't to rehash what the desk has already said. Our job is to hype this crowd up and deliver on the players' makings. Are you ready for this game?
I am so ready. The crowd, they look ready. The team should be ready as well. And I think that that's broken down perfectly. So much on the line for both these two teams. It's going to be nerve-wracking, and it's going to be so intense in the serve, and we're ready to kick things off here.
I think the crowd might be ready, but I want to hear you, Antwerp. Are you ready for this game? We are live.
And we're wasting no time. It is going to be the Vertigo pick coming in from Copenhagen Flames. It's their map pick. It is a map they will be looking to win if they want to take the series, because as the desk said, the favorites would have to be ENCE. ENCE, though, starting on the CT side. We have a full USP armor purchase coming out, and Copenhagen Flames wasting no time. An A hit on the cards.
Straight up on the ramp side is ENCE for the time being, pushing through the side and ramp simultaneously. But Copenhagen Flames at a very fast flank. Now bolstering up 4 players over on the back of the site. Smoke's being deployed. First kill still not forthcoming, but there is Siphon through the smoke into the head, and that yields the bomb plant as well. And now ENCE have all the work ahead of them. They're going to have to try and retake. Snappy gets 1.
Snappy gets 1, but this retake isn't going to be easy. They need to hit the shots here, Vince. No utility.
No utility on the drive-by. Huxi comes in, but Dyha with 2 lights up the scoreboard. And now Nikodos with it all to do with the Glock, but Snappy says no. ENCE get first blood in the quarterfinals.
That was such a clean retake coming in from ENCE. They had no utility, Vince, no kits as well. They knew they couldn't allow Copenhagen Flames to feel comfortable in this post plant, immediately going in for the retake and making things so very convincing. And Snappy with an unreasonable shot to open things off. Clean shots coming out here from the side of ENCE. And I gotta say, at least in the server, this ENCE side, their first arena game, their first arena round, and they seem to be calm and composed.
Absolutely. Third in the world for a reason, as they have shown time after time. And Diha locking down the B side with his A1S. It is effectively just upgraded pistols and a couple of Glocks thrown in the mix as well, but ENCE have done well to kick things off very cleanly.
Yeah, not really going for the force buy here, even though Copenhagen Flames, they got the bomb down. So just going to be going for the pistols, as you pointed out there, Vince. Yabi going in for a little bit more. He's got a Tech 9 and Kevlar as well to work with. For ENCE, it's about keeping everyone alive, getting that MP9 in the hands of Madden to farm as much cash as possible. And you can see they've invested heavily in the rifles here. Lack of utility is something maybe Copenhagen Flames could try and abuse, but it's been a rock-solid hold coming out from the defense. And Diha, he's a player that Desk highlighted, Vince. He's a player we're talking about alongside Spinks as being the two stars of this ENCE lineup. And he's off to a rolling start, albeit it's against just the pistols.
Yeah, the caveat needs to be put into place, but you can understand all these players have not played on a stage of this magnitude before, so there could be some jitters, some nerves coming in, so it's great to see ENCE kicking things off cleanly. And although Nikodos does possess a deagle and 35 seconds, it's surely not going to be going in his favor. They have every single angle covered right now. And the star player on Copenhagen Flames is going to get sprayed down. 2-0 start, ENCE. Very convincing.
Very convincing, not losing a single player. But the buy is going to be coming in for Copenhagen Flames. You have the AK-47s being purchased. No AWP yet here early on in the game for Nikodos, but we have the AKs. We got a ton of utility as well. And Flames, I mean, they are really dominant on this map, but you go back a few days, you saw how it was a bit of a struggle against the Brazilians in the form of Imperial, and that is going to be something on the back of the mind. So we do have the first test here for ENCE. Madden still wielding the MP9 and looking to be aggressive. Time being, there's going to be Hades with the M4 of this, alongside his captain in the form of Snappy. Bit of a lull in the action here. No pressure towards mid from the side of ENCE. As Snappy looking to take the fight. He finds one, but the trade is immediate.
Ooh, Nikodos doubles up, gets ramp control. Will be forcing away the CTs as well from rotational positions. Diha, who's had a lot of success already on the B side, may be caught in transition. But Madden feels like he could be the linchpin here. Blair, if he can get a kill with that SMG, anything's possible. And ENCE, they decide they're going to hold positions, and Copenhagen Flames begin to retreat.
They're expecting this re-aggression coming out from ENCE, but Madden being all by his lonesome, if he walks in and he falls, that A bomb side, it's going to be free for the taking for Copenhagen Flames. So just going to buy this time, holding the angle towards the short position. Siphon, in the meantime, making his presence felt towards mid, and that's keeping two of the CTs, at least one of them in the form of Spinks, focused towards mid, and a hit is coming in on the A bomb side.
40 seconds to play with Spinks now in prime position. Grenade up and over, could be doing some significant damage, but HooXi is dealt with side, and there is Yabi. Straight through, claims the headshot. Diha in a 1-on-4. Time may work against the Danes if they're not careful. Diha's got one, did catch the leg, can't finalize the kill though. And Nikodos will be putting the bomb down. Diha, a dangerous game of cat and mouse. If he can take down Nikodos, this round is doable, especially considering how low HooXi currently is. But Nikodos expertly plays around the box, and Copenhagen Flames are finally on the scoreboard.
Don't give him a chance there, Vince. Well executed. I love how Siphon was making a lot of noise towards mid. It was forcing Spinks to hold down the mid. And we have a bit of a contingent here. They have been the loudest section in the crowd in the past couple of days.
I was surprised at how many ENCE and Copenhagen Flames fans we've got in the audience right now, honestly. We were just talking to a group of guys over to our left traveling all the way from the US. Hello, guys. Pretty amazing stuff. I'm sure there's many other stories like that. But into the fourth round we move, Black.
Yep, and the buy is of course going to be coming in. It was a great second round, so the buy comes in. Snappy, he's going to be plucked, but Hades with a quick trade.
Quick trade, keeps himself alive on the sandbags. Susceptible to being mollied off. This is an important trade. It goes the way of Yabi. And Ramp can now fall the way of the T's, but it's a flop Molotov.
You can see slight nerves. It's tense. 4v3 though, still man advantage for the Copenhagen Flames side. And look at this, the push, and Yabi, he reads it to perfection. Madden will fall.
He may have messed up the Molotov, but there's nothing wrong with his aim. Two huge entries. And ENCE feeling the burn again on their CT economy. They went all in on this round, Blair. They're down to an SMG, they're down to an M4, and they have nothing in reserve. They've got to stand their ground and fight.
And I love how Copenhagen Flames are being so very patient. Man advantage, they don't want to give it away. Spinks now starting to question it could potentially be a late B play, but the Molotovs and the smokes getting deployed, that should be the tell. And Spinks got to go nuclear now.
Well, this has to be a huge round through the smoke. The right idea, but Yabi with his third. Entry kills to perfection. And just like that, ENCE are a done deal. Diha, his options are scarce. He either runs and tries to save the SMG or stands and fights and maybe posts up a kill. He doesn't even have a kit at this stage. So we are going to be all tied up at 2 apiece. And Yabi, take a bow. That was a phenomenal round.
We have so many questions and unknowns when it comes to these two teams playing their very first arena game, especially in a major as well. And there were going to be nerves. There were some questions. Can Spinks deliver? Can he be the best player in the server? Because he's been phenomenal by far. The desk spoke about it as well, him alongside Diha. They've been incredible. Second and third highest rated player in the tournament right now. But you look at his Copenhagen Flames side, sure, it is a team effort for them. You don't really have a clear-cut star player. But Yabi, for me, man, as an entry, the amount of impact he can find. Hades over here caught in a very uncomfortable position. And this one, he knows Matt's got to go for some info play, and he waits patiently and pops his head clean off his shoulders. ENCE now down to just a saved M4A1 in the hands of Diha. But Vince, one thing we know about this man, he can deliver even if it has to be all by his lonesome.
They were discussing this on the desk. He is a huge heavy hitter on ENCE, so Copenhagen Flames can take nothing for granted. Need to tread lightly. What we have seen though is their ramp control's been solid, and that's what we're talking about. Insta headshot, Roy's just gone.
And immediately the pivot back. They know there's no more guns here, and it's going to be just one defender.
Here comes Yabi, taking point, does get dinked down and finished off by Spinks, who's landed another headshot, but Typhon survives on 22, and now Diha's up to the plate, trying to drill down the players, and he's got himself 2 more. Ridiculous round from the pole, and he goes in for another one. A 4K for Diha.
Absolutely incredible from him. 1 M4, that's all they needed. A 4K. And all they had was USPs, Vince. 4 USPs and the M4, and Diha does everything by his lonesome. Opening it up, finding Roy. And it was a right call from Copenhagen Flames as well. They knew where Diha was towards the A bomb site. They immediately pivot back towards the B bomb site. But then Diha, such quick rotations, 9-1 for him, as we have a little bit of some fancy movement from Roy here, looking to catch Diha.
Beautiful play. We saw this in the Legend stage as well, Blair. We casted this. It was a flashbang and Roy got the perfect entry. So good to see them bust it out, but ENCE, they're a step ahead. They weren't even there to get headshotted down. Diha already on 9 kills as we move into the 6th round. And as we highlighted, a player may be down, he is never truly out.
Diha, he reads it. Almost finds the tap, but here comes the play though. 2 T's pushing on in.
Nikodos in the meanwhile though gets the first entry. Now Diha has to try and rinse and repeat, but Roy has dealt him the fatal blow. Copenhagen Flames in a 4-on-2 will be very likely to secure this round, and ENCE want no part of it. It's 1 step forward and multiple steps backwards. If they can save these weapons though, there could be a way forward for another buy.
Yeah, they could still eke out a buy here, but the AWP in the hands of Hades, there's nothing it can do. Far away from where the bomb is planted. And yeah, if they can save these 2 guns, which they should, Madden can buy for himself, Hades can drop a weapon, but it's still going to be a bit of a dicey buy. So yeah, Copenhagen Flames, great recovery. It looked like they completely capitulated in round number 5, but able to bounce back, keeping all 4 alive. Just Nikodos the only sole casualty, but that was after he did get one of the entries. So Copenhagen Flames making things still very competitive.
3-3, the score. They said it on the desk. Even if it does go the distance, even if it's a 2-0, they expect this is going to be a close game. And so far, it has delivered. But a lot of it's been of individual efforts when it comes to ENCE. And that may be an issue going through into the latter stages of this map if it continues.
They're calling attack time out early on as well. With just 6 rounds in. Shout out to this guy. Shout out to this guy. He's been wearing that, I feel like, since yesterday.
I'll tell you right now, it's pretty hot in this arena, I'm not gonna lie. I can't imagine how much that guy is struggling, so fair play. My respect.
All right, I can see your pick'ems. I can see your pick'ems.
He's got Na'Vi to win it.
He got Spirit. What a genius.
I got Spirit too.
You're a genius too, but here we go. Looks like they have talked things through as we have a buy coming in once more. As we spoke earlier, a couple of guns will be dropped. Diha will only have to make do with the MP9. A couple of kits, decent bit of utility as well to work with. We have an early boost once more. He's been spotted, however.
There was a flash in the eyes. I'm not sure if they know exactly where he is, but he's plucked the Molotov again. And that's going to allow Diha to stay in position, but he still gets plucked out from the AK-47.
Roy making up for that Molotov, and here comes the play. Spinks with the AWP. That's interesting.
Yeah, over Hades, it would appear. So definitely keep an eye out on this play. Spinks in the meanwhile, though, more than capable with the weapon. He's normally, though, when you think of Spinks, you think of the rifle. You think of just crazy fragging out with that weapon.
Look at the rotation from the T's. This is brilliantly played. They know mid's open, so they have to invest Hades over there, leaving the A bomb side with just one defender right now, and it's got to be the captain to deliver.
Snappy up on the off angle, the scaffolding with a hit and run. Afforded the luxury of backing away, tosses in a grenade, no one's there to deal any kind of return damage though, and he's done enough to force the Flames back again.
Roy still has control of the B stair, so they will still have an avenue to this bomb site, and Spinks, he's been scoped in the entire round, and now it's turn to strike with the AWP.
Going in for that late boost again. We've seen this a couple times from the Flames. Spinks is here though. Later, wait, but he misses the shot. He's still alive to tell the tale, but it's going to be a Molotov designated towards him. Second shot is also missed. Hades steps up, delivers one. 20 seconds left on the clock. Looking to try and fend off the push with Snappy. And they both nip in for frags, but here's Nikodos from the back. 10 seconds to play with a 1 HP. He needs a headshot, and he needs it yesterday. Is it going to be forthcoming? No, Hades holds on, and again, ENCE getting the round, but by the skin of their teeth.
Hades actually faces, with barely any time remaining, the sheer cojones on this man. It was a bit of a question mark, seeing Spinks with the AWP, a couple of shots. Well, if it was in the hands of Hades, you'd know he wouldn't have missed that, but still able to bring it back. But you said it right, Vince. The rounds that ENCE are winning are coming down to the individual heroics of the players.
Vitality crowd has been amazing. This section has just been so loud throughout.
Shout out to them for showing up. Even though they're not there, the team's not there, they have definitely shown up.
Spinks on your screen there, missed a couple of key shots in that last round, but they weren't punished. However, the timeout has come and gone. ENCE are ready. Copenhagen Flames are also ready. And both teams going to have a bye, but it's not ideal on either side of the coin.
Yeah, this is going to be a pivotal round to see which team might be going on maybe a 2 or 3 round streak here. You see the Galils coming out for the side of Copenhagen Flames. It looks like a faster play towards B. Diha with a nade could deal a lot of damage.
Has been tossed in, but as Copenhagen Flames were a little bit more passive, not been affected. I understand why they've gone for that nade though. We've seen that run boost multiple times. Flashing, Diha behind it, but he's getting drilled from multiple angles, and Yabi puts the final nail in the coffin. Spinks now showing us why he's so revered with the rifle with 2 big kills, and he forces back the Danes.
Roy somehow sneaking his way in. They have no idea, but it's caught looking the wrong way. That is so unfortunate for Roy. They've lost control of ramps now, and just 2 players surviving for Copenhagen Flames, and Nikodos on 8 HP.
51 on Zyphon as well. Copenhagen Flames looking very rough. And keeping in mind the positioning of Snappy is so good, and Hades has his crossfire established on top of that. Bomb's been spilled down. This would have to be the play of all majors, and it will not be coming to pass.
Great round for ENCE to win. They needed that desperately. Keeping 4 alive as well. They can upgrade one of the MP9s to the AK-47s from one of the fallen Copenhagen Flames member. But still a long path ahead. This was so well done by Sphinx. They lose Diha, and the fact is able to find not just one but the second kill. There was still a window for Roy to sneak his way in and just dismantle that A defense by his lonesome, but timing not quite panning out. A fast play coming in towards B, and this should be Farm City, but Diha getting riddled by the clocks.
They're basically tickling him, and Sphinx with a triple spray. It was a full-on eco, can't get too carried away, but that's going to build that confidence, and more importantly, the back balance.
You can see a couple of smiles on the face of the ENCE players as well, and that's what you need, right? Even though, yeah, that was an eco bash, it does definitely help to start to get warmed up. Copenhagen Flames, it was just Glocks. Now the buy comes out again, but ENCE have now started to get a bit of a lead, 6-3. You can see the maps as well. ENCE picked Nuke, their best map. This is Copenhagen Flames' best map. So a win here seems imperative for the Danish side. Roy, once more, leading the path.
Stappy may be mollied out, but he's still in a good position behind the cranes. Flashbang designated to mid. This could affect Sphinx if he's not careful. Turns his back though, expertly navigates his way across. Another good move into his crosshair, and he doesn't disappoint. Hooksy should tread lightly or he will follow suit. And mid becomes the Flames' tomb. And they're getting sprayed across the map. They're being bullied and battered and bruised. And ENCE are looking good for yet another one.
ENCE look like they have stabilized. The first few rounds, it was iffy. And it came down to individuals, but now finally starting to look much better. I say that though. Immediate 2 kills from Yabi and Nikodos, and all of a sudden we still have a round in our hands here. They will creep on up. Still a lot of time to work with, but just one smoke.
Both players also have been tagged, and then the nades just rip and tear a little bit more HP off the bars, puts them into headshot range of the two A1Ss. And now a fact-finding mission. ENCE decide they want to be pushing up the side, take some control, and this could be the nuts position. This is the round coming to an end. Mad and beautiful spray transfer. 7-3 lead. ENCE are looking undeniable right now on this CT side.
For a moment there, it looked like Yabi and Nikodos would potentially be able to bring it back, but just the consistent re-aggression, the constant mobility of the CTs from ENCE catching Copenhagen Flames off guard. We do have a half mic coming out. It's just going to be the pistols, maybe trying to take away a few weapons here. Once more the run boost for Roy, and he lands it again.
Hey, that's 100%, 3 out of 3 times. He has taken quite a bit of damage though, and there's another HG that's going to be finding its way, but the wrong side of the stairs. Forward position has been maintained though, but we've seen Copenhagen Flames get in these positions a few times, Blair, and they haven't really done much with it.
And for the side of ENCE, the past couple of rounds, they have started to build up a decent bit of money. You can see Mad and Sphinx an average about $7,000 on the 2 players, so they have stabilized their economy. They're looking pretty solid here. This nade should deal quite a bit of damage. Hades just trying to go for the jump spot. Hasn't seen anyone yet as Copenhagen Flames look to creep up and potentially find a couple of 1Ds.
Oh, that nade could have been so much worse had it have not been for the box. The timing was slightly off. There were 4 players down there. 5th is Hooksy in middle with his Desert Eagle. And now Hades going to be 1 tap round the corner. This could get a little bit sketchy. Snappy needs to get a couple more kills out of this position. And he's being forced away. Now there's no Molotovs or HEs to deal with him. So it's still a really rough ask on Copenhagen Flames. And now Diha has joined the party, joined the fray. Down goes Madden. However, Snappy is also going to fall to Xiphon. He's picked up 3 kills in this round. And although he's down to 16 HP, they still have 30 seconds.
This is a lot of damage being dealt here. I'm not too sure why ENCE went for those fights. He had a headshot angle. And now we can see both the defenders remaining for ENCE. Diha and Sphinx, the 2 stars coming in. Bomb still needs to be retrieved.
Xiphon going in first with the A1S. D has dealt with his teammate and goes in for seconds. Diha, by the way, 15 kills already.
Easy for ENCE yet, Vince? I don't think so. I still feel like this game is still very, very early, but you have to admit, ENCE is starting to look pretty solid. A couple of rounds, that round in particular, didn't really have to lose so many players, but still, they stabilized. Diha has been absolutely brilliant thus far. Second tactical timeout getting called here for the Flame side. And you can see Zyphon, 18 years of age, playing his first major playoffs, and you can see the shots affecting Hades as well. Great work from him. And sure, they lose a round, but they do deal a little bit of damage. They ensure the coffers of ENCE don't spiral out of control. 8-3 though for the Finnish org. And here comes the buy once more. No AWP yet for the side of Nikodos. They're going to be sticking with the AK-47s, and Hades looking to take the fight.
Flashed and smoked out of position though. They nearly snap away the IGL, but Hades is there to repel the push. And ENCE on flames, not looking like they're going to be doused anytime soon. Decent utility also tossed in. HC in the incendiary as well towards the ramp. And again, the Copenhagen Flames get aggressive, but they get forced away.
Spinks pushing in mid as well. He could catch his rotation, Vince, the timing. He could listen to the footsteps, but they're going to slowly sneak on up. If they opt to head up the ladder, Spinks could completely ruin their day.
Molly still burns, going to be drawing away. Spinks, he's on the long flank here, Blair. This could be so catastrophic for Copenhagen Flames. It really relies on Madden. If he can stall this with a couple of kills, that could be good enough, but he's lost his head, he's lost his life, and now Spinks has to try and pick up the pace. Now it's Diha next up to the plate. They are watching the back though, the backside, but Spinks still takes the head before Zyphon's there to thwart the retake. They still haven't got the bomb planted though, and our utility is coming in thick and fast. Diha has also put a bullet between the eyes of Zyphon. 3-play-2, and suddenly the Flames have been put down again, and it's the pole in prime position to strike. Yabi's got himself one. This should afford him the luxury of the bomb plant. They have no more utility to stop this. They do have flashes, smokes, and a couple of kits. But Yabi could clutch. Hades will snatch it away though. And ENCE 9-3 in the lead.
Diha is pretty much single-handedly dousing the Flames. He has been so instrumental. That was a great call for them, going for the contact play towards the B bomb site. The defender is all by his lonesome. They take him down. Even the flank from Spinks, it looked like he'd easily find a couple, but he gets smacked down. But somehow Diha once more finding a multi-kill. And that is what everyone's battling for. That trophy. And right now, ENCE are on fire. 9-3. 3 rounds remain in his first half. Dia's 17-6, and he has been just unstoppable.
He's been unbelievable, but you also have to have a look at Yabi. Yabi on the Flames has been so huge as well, with tons of entries, but it feels like there's been no follow-up. Roy has had a very slow game so far, and he's normally one of the better players. Madden, though, with 2 kills, and 3 gets it as well! No mutually assured destruction this time. ENCE are on the fast track to 10 rounds, and they can thank their new recruit for a beautiful 3K spray down.
They've just been stopped in their tracks, Vince. Going for the contact play out mid. The bombs dropped as well, so it's a recovery mission for Yabi and Roy. And Madden, he's just spotting for them. He's not going to stick on around. Still on 37 HP.
Oh, this HG as well, it's so grim. It may not do a ton of damage, but it softens them up, and Spinks is going to finish this one off. The bomb's at the top of the box. Good luck, Yabi. Not happening. ENCE are playing lights out Vertigo CT side right now. It's hard to see how the Flames get back in this.
The rounds they're starting to win are looking convincing. What a hole from Madden as well. They just went for the walkout, and even though he had a teammate nearby, Vince, he was all by his lonesome. Just incredible control in the A1. And what looked like a very back and forth affair just 15-20 minutes back, it was 3-3. It was back and forth, it came down to Diha getting some crazy multi-kill rounds, but with every single member of ENCE starting to come alive, the individual starting to shine. It's just starting to look very, very grim for Flames, as we will be seeing a light purchase. They're going to ensure they have enough money for the rifles come round number 15, but penultimate round of this first half here. And once more, they will have to just work with the Deagles and the Tech 9s. It's going to be a faster play once again out mid, and once more Madden has to answer.
And he has for the first and the second. He may go down to the hands of Zyphon, but he's got all the information and put it down into a 2-on-1. There is Spinks with the AWP again. Interesting. And Diha may go down on the site, but considering Yabi's on 12 HP and has now been finished off, the chances for Huki are looking bleak. as are the chances for Copenhagen Flames to get any kind of a stranglehold on this map. 11-3, and we were discussing this before, it was individuals popping off in the first few rounds. Now the entirety of ENCE is there, and they're all delivering.
Yeah, you're not expecting to see Sphinx with the AWP just getting killed at will. We have a lot of Flames fans as well in the house. And a solitary ENCE fan right in front there. It's looking pretty easy for them, I have to say. Diha with a nade. Just gonna chip away at Hooksy. But they have invested all they have. Final round of the first half for the side of Copenhagen Flames. Can they find one more, Vince? A fourth round is imperative for them if they want to make things competitive.
Yeah, it gives them a little bit of a foundation. But that's all it will be unless they can convert from here on out. And Madden once again delivers. Nikodos down, Roy gets traded out, and it's more of the same. Deja vu. The Danes are being straight up destroyed. And Diha is 1 kill away from a first half 20 bomb.
He might just even find it here. What an absolute shutdown it's been from ENCE. Zyphon, young Zyphon left alone, 1v4, great shot into Madden, but his position is known. Sphinx will shut him down. ENCE get 12.
Incredible first half performance on ENCE, but I have to say the Flames have looked like they haven't got out of first gear so far. We've had moments of brilliance from Yabi. Roy showed a little bit up towards the end, but so many of their heavy hitters aren't on the server yet, Black. That has to change.
You gotta love them. You gotta love them.
Makes me think, imagine how loud they would be if Vitality were playing right now. I'm not sure we'd have a roof afterwards, honestly.
Well, right now, what we do have are Copenhagen Flames looking to make a comeback. Their pistol rounds have been a struggle in this Legend stage thus far, Vince. This time, they need to convert.
They simply have to. There's no second lifeline available. The Flames will know this, and they're posting up in passive positions. Saw ENCE very aggressive. Diha claiming a ton of kills, but now Nikodos on the mid. The T's have bypassed him, they're swelling, they're swarming onto the site, and Snappy is claiming heads. Zyphon though gets 2, looking for a third, but Diha and Snappy now come together in tandem and pick up the kills. The bomb's been spilled down, Nikodos is still alive, still taking heads. But Sphinx have to flank. Sphinx could still put this to bed. Sphinx could potentially take this entire map and put it in the back pocket of ENCE. The bomb still in awkward position. Nikodos administering the pain. And Copenhagen Flames now have a chance.
That is exactly what the doctor ordered for Copenhagen Flames side. And Nikodos, what even are these shots? We said a pistol win was something they absolutely needed to make this even slightly competitive, and they find it. One step forward. Still trail massively, and you can see ENCE looking to exert the pressure. The force spike coming in, pistols abound, and it's going to be a trade down mid. Hooksy with 1, but Madden with the trade.
They sacrifice the pistol and they keep the Glil alive. They get a bit of control as well. And now Madden can try and spread his wings, fly out towards window. Roy knows this is a possibility, but Madden's using that smoke expertly. Roy's not sure if he needs to bolster up the B side or stay in mid. And meanwhile as well, Blair, ENCE have other ideas. This is all misdirection. It's such a huge moment, and he gets double peeked. Death from above. If it wasn't from Yabi, though, he's about to get white swung from Roy. And now Zyphon stuck on the side. Has to try and clutch this one out. He's going to be fine. Yabi's alongside him as well. And that Galil, of course, has gone down, but Sphinx is still alive. And that Deagle, if it finds its mark another couple of times, this could get interesting. But instead, Roy shuts him down.
The cavalry arriving in the form of Roy, because Sphinx, boy, oh boy. You could almost see it transpire in front of your eyes, but Copenhagen Flames, they withstand the test of the force spy from Snappy and his men. Just a light investment here, and for Copenhagen Flames, it's about shutting it down, not suffering too many casualties, starting to build up the economy, starting to go on a streak, and bringing this one back. as ENCE, they just come charging on in. And just the pistols, not much being invested. It's Yabi just duking it out with D-Hub, but this should be a clean round. But Hades, he's got something to say about it.
These are all important kills as well. Have a look at the economy in some of these players. HooXi down to 200, Yabi's on 400. Even if they lose this round at this kind of a deficit, another kill or two could be enough. ENCE could really put some pain down, but instead it's Roy. A barrage of bullets down onto the ramp, and Snappy with his Tech 9 alongside him. He's not had a slow game either, 10 frags to his name, but the Tech 9 at that range is going to get nothing in return. We said the Flames have got to get the second pistol, they have to convert that opportunity. They've done just that, they've given themselves a chance now.
Alright, he's got some guns.
Damn. Okay. They're not quite fur levels, but
Close enough.
Soon.
All right, we're jumping back in here. 12-6 now. Copenhagen Flames survived the first test, but Yabi getting willed down to 31 points of health. And he hasn't faded back yet. He's found a little bit of a window of opportunity to scamper back, but mid is wide open. Vince, there's no one here for the Flames side.
No one here, and with a low Yabi as well, but there is going to be a peek, a wide swing in, and Zypherd with one. Thinks better of overstaying his welcome. He's got the hit he was looking for. Backs away. Very smart decision.
Oh! Dink onto Snappy. And ENCE, they're not falling back. They seem committed to going for this B-take, and Yabi just spraying away through the smoke. He's got backup as well, and Dia comes charging in, and he gets team flashed.
That should have been Yabi dying. He was switching weapons there, but as he said, the team flash was everything, and now it's really messed with ENCE's plans. It's been a wrench in the works, and Yabi's going to take that wrench out and knock them upside the head with it as he sprays down another couple, and there's Zypherd in mid. The Flames on the fast track back in this match.
5 rounds now, just 5 rounds separate them. And we said they needed to win a couple of these rounds in a bit more of a convincing fashion, and they have indeed done so. And the AWP now out in the hands of Nikodos. And this is something the desk spoke about when it comes to the IGL's delivering, and the desk has said, you know, when it comes to individual prowess, Snappy seems to have the edge over HooXi. And you can see right now HooXi is struggling indeed, but then if his stars in the form of Yabi and Nikodos can shine, it could be a whole different ball game. Quick flick from Nikodos, won't quite find its mark. This is a light buy, mind you, but there is an AK-47 in the hands of Sphinx.
There is the hero, the potential savior of this round, but Roy passing more tests. Now he is starting to get in this game. Now we're seeing what he is capable of delivering, but the second frag goes against the Flames. Another miss from Nikodos. He's landed very little in this round. He's forced away. Lots of nade damage though, and there's Yabi with the follow-up. He's been so on point today for the Flames. They can go from strength to strength as the spray is slightly awry, and Hades comes back with one. ENCE making this a costly round right now. There's the peek in. HooXi nearly capitalizing on the momentary weakness. And there's Nikodos. He's landed the shot he was looking for. Snappy in a 1 and 3. HooXi may be low. There's 50 seconds. Snappy with the first. Making this sting a little bit more. The rotations in from Snappy.
Oh.
And Zyphon just about survives on the lowest of health.
There was a world there if Snappy, if he finds Zyphon and HooXi, the battle of the IGLs, and he was so very low. What was looking like a very one-sided affair. And Copenhagen Flames have finally seemed to have found their stride. Attack time getting called by ENCE. And they really haven't been finding much success here on the T side.
Awesome to see the Brazilian fans still in the crowd. Antwerp is still alive! What you love to hear. This is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Where dreams are made, or indeed shattered. And right now, the Flames, who are looking, honestly, dead and buried at half-time, they found that life raft, and they've been desperately swimming back ever since.
The Flames, they are burning bright indeed. It's been flawless on the defensive side. ENCE, though, even though they found 12, they found nothing here in the second half. Hades with the AWP, Roy spamming away through the smoke, almost finding the kill out of Madden as he will slowly peel back.
Oh, the damage is significant. That nade could finish him off. Lands onto his head, and they back out of ramp. However, it's at great cost to Madden's life, but he'll be so happy with that trade.
The repick from Roy. Bear in mind, Madden is so very low. Wielding the AWP, dropped by his teammate. They continue to push ahead, and Roy continues to put them down.
Still in this fight. Smoke will force him slightly to back away. They have no side control. That could be a problem. Smoke is lined up, and they get HooXi as Roy is lining up the smoke himself. Roy is still alive, but he knows that side control has been deemed forfeit. He's going to try and get back to the site, but he meets Hades. And Hades will deal with him so quickly that this round should fall as a result. Yabi's still in this round though, making a move through middle. Onto the elevators, and now about to show his hand on the A side. If he sneaks in, this is winnable. First kill goes down, bomb's now been planted. This is a momentary one-on-one. The IGL is just biding his time, he's waiting. He's anticipating this push. And Spinks will survive with 9, and Madden was on 5. That was so nearly winnable for the Flames.
91 in 1. He wishes he had that AK-47. Sphinx, though, surviving 9 HP. Not really a clutch because Madden was still alive, but as you pointed out, Vince, they were both so very low. And ENCE, they finally seem to have cracked the code. It was hairy. It came down to Copenhagen Flames, making a couple of mistakes in the ramp hole. And despite the heroics of Roy, not quite able to find it, the speed from Sphinx and Dia. And 3 will fall and 2 remain for Copenhagen Flames.
Speed does indeed kill, and now the Flames are going to try and re-emerge. We had that comeback, we had the 4 or 5 rounds in the second half. It may not end up mattering if it comes to an abrupt end now. HooXi and Nikodos with no real money, or at least in the right position, but Madden still pinces in, and Sphinx will go full circle. He got the opening entry, and he'll finish the round off. 14-8.
21 for Diha, 19 for Sphinx. The second and the third highest rated players in the major, and they are here to play, Vince. The speed here, the 1-2 wombo combo. They have left Copenhagen Flames shattered. They're going for the full spy. And for ENCE, 2 rounds to take map number 1. Multiple opportunities. And Copenhagen Flames are like, we're still gonna battle it out. They're not gonna try and play for OT. They want to bring this one back just with the pistols. And ENCE showing a bit of restraint. They know the money's not great right now for the Danish side. Being very methodical. The Sphinx holding towards mid. All 4 other players gathered up outside the ramp position, and a cheeky little boost. That Deagle could potentially find one.
Problem is, there's going to have to be more bullets behind it than you connect. Ina has a good idea as to this position. They're going to check for this one. The kill goes against the Flames. They now know a second player is there as well, which is going to force a lot of ball banging to come in. And Hades plucks out the second player. As you mentioned, this being a force fight puts the Flames in such an awful position. And it looks like the final curtain may be coming down. Nikodos, last man standing through the smoke snap. He goes for the spray. At least 1 kill for the star player, but Sphinx lays him to rest. 7 map points. And this is Copenhagen Flames' choice of map.
Copenhagen Flames have not been able to crack the riddle of the Sphinx as he has come alive on this T side. It was Diha who was a rock in the first half. With everyone chipping in for the ENCE side, it is looking unstoppable. It is looking like it's undeniable here as ENCE won away 7 map points on their opponent's map pick. And look at this buy. Look at the buy for Flames. Couple of MP9s, couple of Deeks, and a solitary scout for Zyphon. They have virtually nothing to work with. It's just scrap spins.
They couldn't get it done with rifles. It's hard to see how this is going to work out for them. But we have also seen a couple of crazy Deeks from Nikodos already. They do their due diligence and they find Roy hiding on the crane. And this destruction derby from ENCE just continues. Copenhagen Flames had their second win, but it proved to be nowhere near good enough. HooXi with the SMG though is making some pain down on the ramp side, traded back out And Snappy would have heard that Yabby was getting up close, but that's only half the fight. Meanwhile, Zyphon has drilled into the head of Dihao with a scout. So a 2-on-2 has fallen upon the server, but Yabby has the advantage, but he doesn't have the weaponry to make the most of that opportunity.
Zyphon has no Vince. He's picked up an AK-47, the 1v2 to save his team.
Everything on the line, with Nuke coming up next, and Zyphon delivers as he sinks in the fangs, tries to coil up and go back in again. Spinks low HP, smoke down onto the site. Zyphon has no kit though. He may feel desperate to get in amongst this sooner rather than later. Tickling the bomb, trying to draw fire. Gets what he was looking for, takes the kill. This is going to be very close, but I think he has the defuse.
I think he's got it. He needed the clutch. He's got it, Vince. He's got it. He doesn't even need the kit. Oh, what a round! What a round from Zyphon! 18 years of age and pulls off the clutch to keep his team in the map. 15-9 now. And immediately ENCE calling for the tactical timeout. They knew they had one in the bag. They knew that was a round which was theirs. They knew that was the map. Have they allowed Copenhagen Flames back into the game? 6 rounds is what the Flames need to take us to OT. It does look improbable, but it is definitely not impossible.
Mate, how are you going to claim Nikonos is your dad if you can't even spell flames right? Come on, Chief.
No, it's Farms.
Farms?
It's Farms.
Either way, 15-9 the score now. Copenhagen Flames, like you said before, this is their last chance. They've had a second win. This may be their third win. Those are the kind of plays that can inspire, motivate, and really pick up the pace. But the way ENCE have been playing, I have to feel like that's probably just a blip on the radar.
We're about to find out. They have the weaponry this time, Vince. They won the miracle round with the Scout and the SMGs and the Deagles. Can they do it with the full-fledged buy? M4A1s, an AK-47 for Zyphon, and the AW from Nikodos. They're creeping on up, and it is going to be Hooksy to fall, the B-bomb side. It's going to come down to Zyphon, but this time he'll find nothing.
Spinks is continuing to twist the knife. The last 3 players stand for Copenhagen Flames. Yabby, Nikodos, and Roy. Under normal circumstances, this is a triple threat of doom. You do not want to be playing against this kind of a roster. And the bomb's still yet to get planted. Copenhagen Flames taking some momentum through mid, and there you can see the bomb dropped in the middle of nowhere. They're gonna have to try and get around here. Snappy through the smoke, takes off that of Nikodos, but there's Roy to come straight back in. And Spinks on 15 HP is still lurking on the site.
He's so very low, and Madden, they were biding their time. It's all on Yabby.
Yabby, 8 HP, gets the first, looking to try and pick up a second. They desperately need him to go huge here. 25 seconds, he knows the Madden has to push through him. Less Yabby, more uppercut, more haymaker, and Copenhagen Flames are still in with a chance.
Back-to-back 1v2s for Copenhagen Flames to keep us still in this map. Oh, that was such a weird round for ENCE. The bomb was nowhere nearby. And both Spinks and Snappy, so very low in health, they were waiting for Madden to come in with the flank, and I really felt they'd done enough, Vince. But in the end, the other youngster in the form of Yabby, he delivers.
You can't argue with how huge he's been in this game, and how Roy nailily capitalizes through the smoke. Madden dropped to 16.
Roy is well down to 6 HP, and Madden walks out and finds Nikodos.
Unbelievable. So huge. Copenhagen Flames desperately clambering on for an opportunity to get into their choice of map. But my God, is this going to be a hard ask. As you said, Roy is low. Only an SMG, lack of utility. They only have 1 kit.
I've got to be aware of this angle though. The boost coming in. Hooksy, he needs to deliver with his A1.
They've been in this position before. They had no success last time. The timing works against them, and now Hooksy pivots in. Can fall back, but I don't think they realize the second player already pushed up there. Snappy gives his position away, but it's at the cost of Roy's life. And a smoke in the eyes of Zyphon will keep him in. That grenade is looking like it's going to be good for the kill. And Madden catches it in his pocket. Copenhagen Flames, though, are going to be cut down to size. And Yavi needs to clutch again. Won't be happening twice. ENCE converted, taking 16-10.
That was a hell of a showing from ENCE.